From the fighters themselves to everyone's fave, Daniel Cormier, many people have weighed in on the Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane fight at UFC 285. Let's hear what they have to say, starting with the man himself, Jon Jones. He's back! The indomitable Jon Jones is back and ready to take the UFC by storm, and he doesn't seem too nervous about the upcoming fight. Jones says that he feels like he's in a really good place right now, and MMA feels fun once again. That's a relief. I mean, after 3 years of missing out on all the action, you'd think the man would have some trouble fitting back in. But no, not this one. It's almost as if he never left. Obviously, it's not like he hasn't thought things through. Of course, he's in a new division and all, and that requires some careful consideration, but Jon's done it all. And what really keeps him going is his strong faith. Jones believes that he's got God on his side, that he was chosen by him to be an undefeated fighter.
Now he's going for a Kimura.
It is all over! Jon Jones remains the UFC light heavyweight champion!
The Albuquerque native believes that to beat him, you have to beat his God first. He said, "I may have close fights, but I truly don't believe it's possible for me to lose." His self-confidence is going out the roof, and it should really, because everyone knows that the key to winning in MMA isn't just physical fitness. It's very heavily dependent on your mental preparedness. And I'm glad Jon's got that bit sorted. He feels more valued by UFC now and has higher hopes for his future with the company, even though he's still not a huge fan of Dana. But those hopes will have to wait, because his immediate goal right now is just to beat Ciryl Gane, and he's all prepared for it. In fact, you could say he's more prepared than he should be. You see, Ciryl Gane wasn't the fighter that Jones had planned on fighting for his heavyweight debut. First, he was lined up for a fight with Francis Ngannou, but everyone knows why that's not happening. That man has walked out of the UFC, and as far as I know, he's not planning on coming back. But that's okay. Jones could fight someone else, right? Someone else like Stipe Miocic. Jon told reporters that there was a fight with Stipe on the line, but an agreement just couldn't come through. So he was preparing for Francis. That didn't happen. He did a whole training camp for Stipe. That didn't work out either. And in the end, he was facing Ciryl Gane. Now, don't get me wrong, Gane's an excellent fighter, but he does look like a step down from Ngannou or Miocic, right? Jon preferred the other two stars. Compared to them, Gane is more or less unknown, you could say. Taking the belt from Francis would have been special because he already had it. Now, it's just fighting for who gets to take a vacant spot. And everyone knows that in the MMA world, that's not very exciting. It's not like he's not looking forward to the Gane fight. He's very honored, and he knew that it would come someday. He also said that fighting Ciryl after preparing for people like Francis and Miocic would be much easier, with a lot less pressure, and he thinks he can easily beat him. Of course, his opponent thinks differently. He doesn't think he's a step down from anyone. If anything, Gane thinks he'll be a tougher challenge. He warned Jones to not take the upcoming bout lightly, saying that he'd prove much more threatening than Francis himself. Ciryl may be a newcomer to the scene, but he's still as confident as ever, and he thinks that his versatility can cause Jon some issues on March 5th.
A lot of eyes have been hurt tonight. Jumping, switching.
That's going to be it.
Goes down.
Hammer fist from Ciryl Gane.
If they stay at this particular position.
Oh, ankle lock attempt.
Oh, he's going
Why
for it.
not?
He's looking for the heel hook.
Oh, he gets the tap.
No way.
He thinks he's more well-rounded than Ngannou is, so beating him would be much more difficult than beating the former heavyweight champion himself. He said that the fight's going to be really good, and he's really looking forward to it. Of course, all this was said in good faith. These two are fighting each other inside the octagon, not outside it. And contrary to what the Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul situation may have you believe, not all MMA fighters like to diss each other. In fact, Gane has always looked up to his opponent. He called Jones one of his favorite fighters. Not just that, he said that Jon is the GOAT, and every young fighter dreams of fighting against a GOAT. So he knows that Jones would be a more than worthy opponent for him, not to mention a great challenge for him. See, this right here is what I like about younger and newer fighters. They don't have that crazy blind optimism that some of you people's faves can't seem to get rid of, even after losing 2 out of only 4 fights for the UFC since 2016. You know who I'm talking about, don't make me name names. Still, I'm sure Ciryl thinks he's got what it takes to beat his GOAT. The only question is, can he? Like any bout, both of these fighters have their pros and cons, and any of them could win against the other, as far as I can tell. Gane may be new, but he's got a really strong foundation.
Look at this. Look for a head and arm choke of the jiu-jitsu guy. Wow.
Now the thing is, the problem for Gane is that...
Oh, there's the tap!
There's the tap!
Welcome
Wow.
to the UFC, Ciryl Gane!
He comes from a Muay Thai background and is a Muay Thai champion. He's adapted those skills to MMA and outstruck almost all his opponents.
Yes, he did. Junior Dos Santos, 7-0 for Ciryl Gane.
Many in the MMA world believe that Cyryl's athleticism and quickness would come in handy during the big fight. Gane has faced some pretty big names already, like Derek Lewis and Francis. Even someone like Ngannou, who's considered the strongest puncher in the scene, had to use wrestling to beat this man.
As they bring in guys.
Oh, Ngannou knocks Arlovsky down. That is it. The Predator Francis Ngannou.
But if Francis can beat him using wrestling, why can't Jones? After all, Jones is one of the best wrestlers in the light heavyweight division right now. And he's got the wins to prove it, too.
Now he's going for Kimura.
It is all over! John Jones remains the UFC light heavyweight champion!
He's also an excellent grappler and has 6 submission wins under his belt. He can easily win against Gane using either his grappling or wrestling abilities. Or better yet, both. One thing's for sure, he may have been out of the scene for 3 years, but you must not take this man lightly. I mean, he even managed to take down Daniel Cormier, one of the best wrestlers in all of MMA. Speaking of Cormier, what does he have to say about the fight? Daniel lost to Jones, yet he still believes that Gane has a better chance of winning this fight. Just like Ciryl himself, Cormier also believes that Jones could face more issues against his current opponent than, say, Francis or anyone else. At one point, he also thought that John versus Francis would be the biggest and most anticipated fight of this year. After all, it's Ngannou. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Cormier said that Jones may have a more difficult style matchup with Gane. Gane is a long and rangy striker, just like Jones is. Normally, Jones's 84-inch reach has always paved his path to success, but he might have to take a different route with this one. Because as Cormier said, Gane possesses a lot of those same qualities, along with the ability to move well.
And that is it. France has a UFC champion, Ciryl Gane. The interim UFC heavyweight champion. Total domination on the road tonight.
Daniel believes that Ciryl is a dog. When he needed to fight Ty, he fought him. He finished the man. It's obvious that this YouTuber/fighter thinks Gane is the undisputed winner over here. And he's only got one piece of advice for Jones. Get tough-skinned, John Jones. But will Cormier's predictions prove right? Guess we'll have to wait till March. Till then, keep feeding yourselves on what bettors are saying. That's all for predictions on the Jones versus Gane fight. See you in the next video.